Welcome to Build the Weight Loss Practice of Your Dreams. I'm your host, Carol Clark, and today we're talking about the most important web pages that you need for your website. And there are a number of them, and the important thing is that this is very applicable whether you are a brand new practice. In fact, I've had the joy of working with a number of practices that are starting from the ground up, or if you are a very established practice, whether you have one practitioner, many. Anyhow, for your website, it's oftentimes your first impression. And so we want to make sure that you have the key pages that are required to be there, and not just required, but recommended to be there. So the first one, of course, is your home page. So on your home page, we want to make sure it is branded to your color scheme, that it has your logo, that it has how to reach out to you, whether that's a phone number, an email, a contact us, or a text that pops up that they can securely text you. There are some great applications out there. Reach out to me if you want to know some of those, but to help have that on your page so that you can have a quick, secure text with people. It's one of the things that's really changing quite a bit. So at any rate, on your homepage, you want it to be branded, you want it to have your logo, you want it to have a way for them to contact you, and you want it to be really fresh and very clean looking, easy to navigate. So what I mean by that is that when they go there, they can tell immediately what are the services that you offer and exactly what's the next step to get to ask you any questions. So in your website, you want to make sure that you have all the services and products that you offer succinctly identified by category, and you can do that through a drop-down bar at the very top. When people go to a web page, they usually start in the upper left corner and then they move their way down, but you want to make sure that you have everything laid out in a very simplistic format. Sometimes we want to share so much information, and I know I have had this issue. I'm always sort of like a fire hose in terms of information, but we want to make sure that we keep this very tidy and very easy to navigate. So if it's medical and surgical weight loss services, having those separated out, making sure that you have all that very easy to navigate, and making sure that any pictures that you use are very appropriate for the clientele that you're serving. And make sure that they're fresh and inviting, and that your website shows some energy and some promise in terms of getting the outcome that people want. So first is your home page. The next page after that that's really important, I mentioned it a little bit, but that is your how to contact you. So your contact us page. So it might be a click and they can put their email in, they can put their information, and they can ask you any questions and then get back with them in a timely manner. It's a way for them to kind of raise their hand and say they're interested in working with you. So your contact us page is important. Next would be your about page. Now I put this third, but really it's one of the most important pages on your website because it's oftentimes been shown to be the one that people peruse and spend the most time on. They want to learn about you, what makes you different, a little bit about, so we want to make sure that page in particular shares a little bit about your story. How did you open your practice? A little bit about you, your expertise, why it's a little bit different at your practice. And they really want to show that confidence in terms of your expertise, and also a personal story so they can kind of get to know you and really start to relate. You also want to make sure that you have information about your key team members, and make sure that everyone has a nice photo, a professional photo, along with a very brief description, but something that shows some personality and also highlights the expertise that you have. So your about page is really important when it comes to learning more about you and your practice. You also want to make sure that you have a services page. Now, this can be accomplished in a few different ways. You may on your website, let's say you have 3 main things you offer, you may have 3 separate sections, and they can learn more and go to a page to learn more about that. But keeping it very clean on your homepage, and then making sure that they can get to learn a bit more about the different services that you offer. So your services page helps to highlight your programs, the services that you offer. And it's just a great way for them to see, like, how does it work here at this particular practice? So you want to make sure that you have that listed with a brief description, and then always a call to action, how they take the next step. If you have too many calls to action, meaning like, let's say you have a webinar on your homepage, you also have a freebie that they can download, you have a sign up for my newsletter, and you also have a contact us, it gets too overwhelming and people don't take action. So we want to make sure that we are a little bit careful about how we're letting people raise their hand, give us their information so you can follow up with them. But we have that. So your services page. The next thing would be a frequently asked questions. So every practice has different frequently asked questions. I found this to be a really helpful page because you can use a lot of the keywords people are searching for, and so it increases your visibility and your search engine optimization. It also just helps provide some of that information that people are asking about. It's a great way too to perhaps link to any blogs or videos that you have all that readily available for the frequently asked questions. But most important, just to have a lot of those keywords and answering the questions that people ask you mostly. If you do have a link, I do recommend that it opens up in a separate page so they can actually go back to your main page and it's all readily there. So you want to make sure that you have that. So we talked a little bit about that frequently asked questions. And then you also want to have a privacy policy. You're required to, and your webmaster can help with this. This is a legal document, but it is required for your website. You should have it on your website. And that's usually just at the bottom. I also like to have a way for people to share the website, or when they're on your blog, or if there's that section, they can go ahead and do that. And while we're talking about that, there's a couple of additional things I do recommend for your website. One of them is a place for success stories or testimonials. This is where people really end up spending a lot of time as well, because they want to see the success stories. They want to be inspired. They want to see how you've affected the lives of others. So I've noticed, and lately it's been very effective, to not only have the testimonials or stories about your patients, but also a way for people to submit their testimonials. So it's an easy way for you to link to there for them to send their testimonial, even though we all like Google reviews and usually we're sending them there. It's another way for you to allow them to provide testimonials, and the link you can have in your emails or whatnot, or sending to your patients. So testimonial page can be really helpful as well. And then I actually, for most practices that I work with, we have product sales or an online store. So we've been spending a lot of time building out e-stores for people and really having everything in one. And on that, in your navigation bar, you usually just have like a shop online. And when you do that, it can go right to your store. You can build your store in your WordPress or whatnot, but there's so many, we've been using one application mainly, but we can create really beautiful stores that mimic the look of your website and where people can easily find what they want, check out, either pick it up at your office or have it shipped to them if you're doing fulfillment. If not, then just pick it up at your store. I know we've been doing this for over a decade, and especially during the pandemic, it was a great thing to have already set in place, so where people could order and then just stop by, and we would have it all ready for them and bring it out to their car or set it outside the door. Everything was paid for. But there's so many advantages to having an online store where people can also purchase your products or services. So those are some of the, in a nutshell, so to speak. This is a really quick video just about the key pages that you should have on your website. And I actually have written a blog all about how to do a website audit, and it happens to be on Robard. If you go to robard.com and click on their blogs, you'll see it in there. Just search the SEO audit or website audit. There's a whole document there with a blog that I prepared for them and for you, and you can find it there. And there's also other resources in there for how you can check some analytics and that sort of thing. So check that out. If you can't find it, reach out to me, Carol, Karol, at weightlosspracticebuilder.com, and I can share that with you as well. But that blog is out there ready to be viewed and ready with a lot of additional information about how to do your own website audit. And I do recommend that you do this. I know for Weight Loss Practice Builder, I'm so jazzed. I just revised the entire website and it's going to be live here shortly. So we also, you change things up as you go along, but having longevity for your website, making sure that you have it with the right keywords and that it's optimized on the back end is really important for searchability. And then of course, I'm always talking about blogs and lots of other things that can help, but I don't go there now. I just want you to have a great day. Download that resource if you'd like. Reach out to me if you want me to send it to you, if you want to do a quick online review of your website. reach out to me, Carol, Karol, at Weight Loss Practice Builder. I love doing stuff like that. And I love getting to know more medical and surgical weight loss practices and working with them across the US. It is really my honor, and I work with the best clinicians. So I would love to add you to that as well. So if you want to check out membership, you can do that as well, bariatricbusinessboss.com. And otherwise, just keep checking out this content. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and share it with others if you think it'd be helpful. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks.